Alright guys, welcome to this episode of Head-to-Head Battles. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and hit the notification bell, because today we're going to be talking about 5 budget decks under $100 that can beat Drytrons, Zodiac Ellick, Zodiacs, and a plethora of other really strong decks that are like meta contenders for this format. Alright guys, and if you guys are wondering, Susu, what is that really dope hoodie you're wearing?
In a world where hoodies aren't cool anymore, one hoodie stands above the rest. More comfortable than your favorite waifu body pillow. More stylish than your mom's over-pampered puppy. Head-to-Head Battles presents the Random Kanji Hoodie. Get yours today.
Well, we released our first hoodie ever. It's called the Random Kanji Hoodie. Because it says on my hoodie, random kanji. So if someone ever asks you, hey, what does it say on your hoodie? You could just tell them, random kanji. The back of the hoodie also looks really freaking dope. This was hand drawn by Jen. And you already know her artwork is really freaking good. So if you guys want to purchase your hoodies, they are up for pre-sale right now over at HeadtoHeadBattles.com. And yeah, get your hoodies. They go up to 5XL. So if you like to wear it loose or a little bit tight like me, you can get whatever size you want. And without further ado, let's get straight into this video. So you're asking me, Susu, how do I beat the meta today? All right, the meta is crazy right now. Drytrons are putting up Vanity's ruler with like 8 negates, or they're going like 8 negates, 4 negates in Appaloosa, 3 pops off of Bethor. Like, how am I supposed to play? Well, let me tell you, there's a lot of decks that still contend with the meta and are really, really freaking good decks. I want to get this list started off with Prank Kids. It's just a prank, bro. Ever since Meow Meow, Link ones actually break the game, right? Like it's just so freaking good. Now, Meow Meow is really freaking good because one, it's a Link one, and in the graveyard, when your other Prank Kid monsters need to tribute a card, instead of tributing itself, you can literally kind of Baylinks the Meow Meow and banish it to not tribute your cards. So when you're playing Battle Butler, which is one of the main win conditions of the deck, it allows you to tribute the Meow Meow and then Battle Butler again, because it's not once per turn nor once per chain. Like, it's kind of a broken card. And if you're going up against like any meta deck and you hand trap them once or twice and you can put up a Battle Butler, you can probably clear their entire board and play the game that you wanted to play, right? And Prank Kids now, with the addition of Meow Meow, are much more resilient to hand traps. Now, the biggest weakness to Prank Kids was that if you ash their first interaction, they'll probably pass, but Prank Kids are really known to have a high ceiling when it comes to chain blocking. Now, with the addition of Meow Meow, even if you get ash or something, you can still play past that first interruption. Now, playing through 2 interruptions might still be rather difficult, but hey, I mean, a lot of people generally only tend to run 6 to 9 hand traps in this format instead of like their usual 12 to 16. So, I mean, you definitely do have a better chance of playing with Prank Kids, and double Battle Butler is still really good. And if you're playing against back row decks like Zoo Ellick or like Punishment Control for Dogmaticas, you still have Roaring Rooster and can play double Harpy's Feather. Wait, does it do double? So, editing Susu, does it do double Harpy's Feather Duster? And yeah, hopefully he gave you the right information. Now, Prank Kids is a really fun deck, but it has been seeing some level of a price increase. I bought the entire deck core for about $45, but now Prank Kids Place is about a $15 to $17 card. So we are trying to keep the budget about under $100. And other than the place, everything else is relatively cheap because there have been a lot of reprints in the set and the deck isn't really meta defining. So the cards are relatively cheap and you can probably play for just under $100, which stays right around the budget. Now, the next deck on my list is actually Unchained. Listen, big shout out to Distant Coder for popularizing this deck, but Unchained is a really good deck because one, all their monsters float and nobody knows how to play against it because everyone generally plays into it, right? Like, you ever had a player when you're playing Unchained, they're like, yeah, I meant to pop that card. I meant to do that. That was part of the game plan. And then they proceed to lose and then you want to ask them so bad and like, yo, I thought that was part of the plan. What happened? Well, that's what happens when you're playing a deck that not a lot of people play, but it's still really freaking good, right? Because one, not a lot of people know how to interrupt Unchained anyways, but the deck inherently is a really good deck, right? Being able to use your opponent's monsters to link off, and then even going up into Abomination, and then, you know, just everything is a quick effect and everything floats, and you don't want to draw the doggo, but sometimes you draw the doggo, but it's fine because the doggo still does stuff. Unchained, after the Megaton reprints, the deck became so freaking attainable, right? And the deck is like pretty like high rarity, so the cards are really sparkly. And you know how Yu-Gi-Oh players come, you know, when it comes to rarities and stuff. I mean, I also fall under this category, but hey, I generally don't play with expensive cards. They're in a binder, never to be touched again. I don't know why I spent so much money on it. Someone help me, send help. Send help, I need to send help. And also the Unchained archetype works really well with the new Live Twins archetype. And the Live Twin archetype isn't really that expensive either. So what are you doing? Go pick up this deck. You are missing an opportunity, and I am here to tell you to not miss that opportunity. The next deck, or decks rather, on my list is Subterra / Ultrageist. Now, both of these decks are rather still very, very cheap. You can probably buy the entire Ultrageist core for under $25, and you can also buy the entire Subterra core for like probably under $50 because Hidden City is still it's a rather expensive card. It's pretty up there, right? But Ultrageist and Subterra Gurus, especially like Subterra like Goons, is a really powerful deck because if you're spending 45 on Goons and then you're spending like 20 on Predaplant and then spending like 50 on the rest of the core, yes, it is like really hitting that level of 100 that we set, but you can play Goons without the Goons. You can play the Gurus without the Goons, and the deck is still really good, right? Guru is one of those decks that can play under Tikaboo. Now, even Ultrageist, as a control deck, cannot play under Tikaboo because most of their monsters are spellcasters, and generally, if you have Faker and Silk and you're under Tikaboo, you can't even summon the Silk anyways. But that's the, you know, but every deck has their pros and cons, right? Like Ultrageist is really good because now we have Faker to 3, and I know Imperm isn't as good in the meta as it once was, so that turn 0 Faker Silk bounce doesn't happen as often, but you can still definitely play Imperm because a lot of people are still playing cards that can most definitely get Imperm turn 0. And you know, multi-Faker into Silk bounce with Protocol on the field and spoofing and freaking Crackdown and all these other powerful trap cards, you're definitely winning the game because Ultrageist definitely know how to grind and definitely learn how to garner that advantage as quickly as possible, right? Now, back to Gurus, because this is a deck that I do enjoy playing. Just the fact that Guru can play under TCBoo is huge, right? Because let's take Drytrons, for example, not playing under Tikaboo, okay? Like, definitely not. They can't even get 2 machines on the field to go into Union Carrier. Like, they legitimately can't play under Tikaboo because their engine cannot get started, which is really important, right? Because Drytrons, once they search off that first Ben 10 and you don't have an interruption for it, they're probably winning that game, right? Like, there's no way you out an Ultimateness with 4 negates, an Appaloosa with 4 negates, and a Bethor for a pop for 3. Or if they're playing the Vanity's Ruler build, they have a Vanity's Ruler so you can't special summon, and they have 4 negates in the form of Ultimateness or Perfection. Like, but Guru going first with Solemn Strikes being an amazing card this format, Ice Dragon's Prison being an amazing card, but obviously we're not playing it because this is the budget version. So let's play Crackdown instead. And with cards like Skullmeister and Ghost Spell being amazing hand traps in the format, and you even having a Fiendus, which is basically a hand trap in your hand, if you went first, you definitely have enough interaction to play through any Drytron player's hand. And even Ellic, right? Like, Ellic is really good if you're playing Ghost Spell or Skullmeister. Even against Virtual Worlds, like, the deck is just so good because the only things you can do with the face down card is either Tribute or Fusion Summon. So they can't Synchro, Virtual Worlds can't Link, they can't Synchro, they can't do anything, right? Their face down monster is technically not even a VW card anymore. So if you have like Phoenix on the field with Guru, you can literally use Guru Quick Effect to flip itself face down and then their VW monster. And if they declare an attack and you have Hidden City on the field, you can use Hidden City to negate the effect, to flip the Guru face up and then get Guru effect. And then you have Phoenix negate. The deck is just too good. The deck is just too freaking good. And like I said with Ultigeist, once you get that advantage rolling, that advantage just keeps on rolling. Ultigeist has a lot of small interactions that not a lot of players know how to interact with. So, I mean, it gives you the edge in terms of like being able to outplay your opponent, because when you're playing a control style deck, you really, really need to learn where to get these interactions done and how to maximize your trap cards instead of just going 1-for-1, right? Using Solemn Strike just to stop one card doesn't do much, but if you're Solemn Striking correctly and you're stopping them from playing, that 1,500 life points you've paid is huge now. Next on my list is a deck dear and close to my heart, and that is Madolches. Now, we are entering a much more mid-range format, and Madolches definitely have a chance to come back into the format. Why? Because Glass Souffle target Tiramisu is huge, right? You go Tiramisu effect, they're like chain. You're like chain Glass Souffle, target Tiramisu. Tiramisu shifts 2 back into the deck. Trigger Salon, trigger ticket. The deck is insane, okay? The deck is insane. You can play blowout floodgates like Goes in Match. Goes in Match is huge, all right? You can play freaking Spellcasters of the Village if you wanted to, because you do have Spellcasters on the field in the form of Mageline, I believe. You can also play cards like Mystic Mine and be okay. Like, you can literally sit on Mystic Mine, Glass Souffle forever, right? Because all your cards shuffle back into the deck, so you'll always have more cards in your deck than your opponent, unless they're playing a 60-card Grand Magia deck. Then that's a different story, but you know how that story goes. Next, Madolches can play another really good card. Dimension Shifter. I tricked you. You thought I was gonna say something else. Yeah, Madolches can play Dimension Shifter, and you can Dimension Shifter someone twice. If you draw 2 shifters and a Hood Cake, you can literally Dimension Shifter, summon Hood Cake, banish a shifter in your graveyard, summon Petting, go full combo, and then shifted them again. I've had a player call me a lot of bad names when I did that too. Hey, if you're watching right now and that was you, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. You were probably playing a meta deck and you got slapped. Now, Madolches, again, it takes a lot of practice to play for sure. Trying to keep your graveyard empty while trying to maximize value is huge, right? Because Madolches with Salon and Chateau, all your cards come back to hand, so technically you will always have starters. So if we're talking about a deck that can grind, oh my God, can this deck grind? This deck is super resilient to hand traps now with Salon, right? Like Salon says, normal summon twice. What the hell? Are you playing Vanity's Ruler? Nice, good job, I guess. I can normal summon twice, baby, let's go. But then it's like, how are you outing Vanity's Ruler? Good question. We'll touch on that topic at a later date because I haven't thought about that yet. It's like 12 in the morning. Cut me some slack. Now, Madolche cards are really, really budget. Okay, they got reprints everywhere. Angeli, which was probably the most expensive card in the deck at the time, got its print in Battles of Legend Armageddon. And Secret Rare, baby. Technically, it's max rarity. Let's go. My deck is shiny. My Madolche deck is probably the most expensive deck I own. And I am proud to be the owner of that deck. I love that deck. I play that deck all the time. Someone send help. Now, for the last deck on my list is Shaddoll's. Now, Shaddoll's is an amazing deck. Like Sinister Shadow Games, Schism, Ariel especially, is a crazy freaking card. It's literally a DD Crow for 3, and it's broken. And on top of that, if you're playing Trap Dolls, big shout out to my boy Pac, and you're playing Punishment, send Apollonia, send Ariel, banish all their Golden Lords, banish all their combo pieces, banish all the cards that they need. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Like, just banish all the Ben 10s for Drytrons, but don't do it against VW because you're fueling their Chuche. Chuche. It's really good against LA because then they literally can't go to end phase and then, you know, banish their traps to get more traps. Like, it's a really broken deck, right? And Construct, like the structured deck literally comes with 3 windows. Do you know how powerful Winda is this format? It is extremely powerful. If you resolve Winda for Drytrons, they legitimately don't play. They literally have no out to the Winda in their deck. because they're like, my deck is so good, I don't even need to play no hand traps. You go first, I'll break your board with Natasha. How are you going Natasha when you can't special summon more than one time? Tell me right now in the comment section down below. Now, Shaddolls, here's the one problem with Shaddolls, okay? The deck is hard to play. There's a lot of interactions that you do need to know and a lot of interactions that you need to learn. This deck is really freaking hard because one, like I said, with any trap deck or any control deck, you need to be able to maximize value when you flip over your purple cards, right? Like purple cards don't really go burr. Your brain has to go burr for the purple cards to do anything effective. Now that's why this deck is so hard. Not only do you have to know how to chain block, right? Construct is always chain link 1. I'm letting you know right now. Thank me in the comment section down below and also by liking this video. Secondly, you have to understand what you need at that given time because most of the cards in your deck are searchable, right? Granted, the deck can go first or second, right? The deck is really good because against virtual worlds and they go VFD, you don't care. You just set a card face down, set 4, pass. That's literally all you need to do because you legitimately win on turn 3. That's how good the deck is. And even against Ellic, just the fact that you can go Punishment Apkalone into Ariel, or even Foolish Burial into Ariel, or even any other card that dumps into Ariel, you win that Ellic matchup hands down, right? And even against a Drytron matchup, if you banish all their Cyber Angel cards, they can't Natasha, right? And if you banish their Ben 10s, they can't recycle and loop their Ben 10s, right? If you banish like their fairies in the graveyard, their Ava literally does nothing. If you banish their Drytron into the graveyard, they have no follow-up play for turn 3. So Trap Shaddolls is a really, really good budget-friendly deck that is really powerful. And there are great pioneers of this deck out there that you should be watching over at twitch.tv/HeadtoHeadBattles. All right, guys, that does it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys would like to, again, purchase these hoodies, make sure you go over to HeadtoHeadBattles.com. I'm going to shoot a commercial for these, but this is kind of like a, they're up for pre-sale. Go get them while you can because they're going to sell out very soon. Also, guys, if you guys want to show us some support, head over to twitch.tv/HeadtoHeadBattles where we do live remote duels. We're playtesting on new Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Simulator platforms, which is huge, by the way. And also where we just talk about life and other conspicuous things. And guys, again, we are really nearing that 10,000 sub milestone mark. So if you guys want to help us out by hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell down below, I would really appreciate it. And if you guys think another player can really use this video, make sure to share this video. All right, I don't want to take up any more of your time because I freaking love you guys. This is Susu from HeadtoHead Battles, signing out.